All right, let's jump right into this. We're going to look at what might seem like a pretty small change in Kentucky's cosmetology licensing law. But trust me, what we're really unpacking here is a much, much bigger story. It's about immigrant entrepreneurs, the hidden barriers that can hold them back, and what happens when a system finally gets redesigned to reward persistence instead of punishing it. You know, this quote just gets right to the heart of the matter. Long before anyone even sits down for a state licensing exam, they've already passed a test that's way, way harder. Think about it, the test of leaving your home, of crossing borders, of navigating a whole new culture and language, all while carrying the hopes of your family. That's the real starting line. And let's be clear, this isn't some abstract policy debate. We're talking about real people from all of these vibrant communities. The nail and aesthetics industry as a whole is powered by a workforce made up mostly of immigrants and refugees. And these aren't just jobs, you see. For so many, they are the most direct path to starting a business and building a new life in America.
So first things first, let's get a handle on the system itself. Because getting a cosmetology license, whether it's in Kentucky or pretty much anywhere else, isn't just about passing one test. It's more like a whole pipeline. It's an education system, a fee-generating system, and an enforcement system all rolled into one. And it has very real consequences for who gets to succeed.
Here's the gauntlet, basically. You have to clear a bunch of hurdles, and they have to be in a specific order. First up, you have to apply for and pass the written theory exam. Only after you've passed that can you even think about applying for the hands-on practical exam. Pass that second one, and then finally, you can apply for your license. Each step is a gate, and each gate costs you time and money.
Okay, so we know it's a pipeline with a lot of hurdles, but now let's dig into the data to see where those gates are the toughest to get through. And we can do this using the Kentucky Board of Cosmetology's own reports, which lets us pinpoint exactly where folks are running into the most trouble. And the data reveals something pretty staggering right away. Get this, just one school, the Louisville Beauty Academy, handles almost 80% of all the non-English exams in the entire state. That means LBA isn't just another school. It's the main on-ramp, the central hub for these entire communities. And boom, here it is. This is where we see a major barrier pop up. On the very first try of the theory exam for nail techs, there's a big 11-point gap between the pass rates for English exams and non-English exams. And let me be really clear here. This isn't about skill or effort. It's kind of a predictable outcome when you have a high-stakes, super technical exam that you have to take in a second language.
So what happens when you hit that barrier? You try again and again. The retake share for candidates from LBA is 29%, a full 10 points higher than the state average. But I want you to see this number not as a metric of failure. It's hard data that shows incredible determination. It is, quite literally, what I will not quit looks like on a spreadsheet.
Now, all that persistence, it has a financial cost. Every single time an applicant retakes an exam, it's not just a testament to their determination. It's also a fee paid directly to the state licensing board. So, you guessed it. Let's follow the money and see how this whole system gets funded. And here's the crucial part. It's how the fees are structured. The regulations in Kentucky are crystal clear. That $85 application fee is for every single attempt. Retakes are not free. So every act of persistence, every I will not quit moment we just talked about, costs another $85. And the financial hit is pretty significant. If you look just at the LBA candidates, their exam attempts brought in almost $60,000 for the board. And get this, about $17,000 of that came directly from retakes. Persistence, as it turns out, was also a very reliable revenue stream for the state. But the money story doesn't even stop with the exam fees. Over a 3-year stretch, the board also collected over $374,000 in fines. And these fines, they often come from inspections of salons, which, you guessed it, are frequently owned and run by the same immigrant entrepreneurs who fought so hard just to get licensed in the first place. Okay, so we've seen the hurdles, we've seen the financial costs, but this story has a really powerful turning point. All of that persistence, all of that advocacy, it all builds up to a huge policy change, one that finally recognizes the resilience of this community and completely changes the rules of the game. The old rule was basically a 3-strike system. It was brutal. Fail 3 times, and you were forced to wait 6 months and take an 80-hour course. Fail again after that, and you could be banned for years. The new law, though, Senate Bill 22, is a total 180. It allows for unlimited retakes with just a 1-month wait in between. It totally changes the system from a dead end to an open road. And what this policy shift really does at its core is recognize the truth that we saw in the data. A high retake volume isn't a sign of failure. It's a sign of unwavering commitment. The law is finally acknowledging that a temporary score on a test shouldn't permanently disqualify someone who is skilled, safe, and just trying to work lawfully.
So why does this one little change in one state matter so much? Because nail salons are one of the biggest pathways to business ownership for immigrant communities. Research shows that unnecessarily tough licensing rules can slash immigrant employment in a field by nearly 20%. So creating fair rules isn't just about equity. It's about building a stronger economy. It's about letting people translate their skill and their hustle into real, legitimate businesses.
This quote just captures the whole shift in perspective perfectly. The reform is really all about giving these professionals the recognition they've always deserved. They aren't a side note in the economy. They are central contributors. They're licensed professionals, entrepreneurs, and community builders.
And that really just leaves us with a final question to chew on. Kentucky's reform shows what can happen when policy is actually designed to reflect the resilience of the people it serves. So it makes you wonder, if we applied that same principles somewhere else, who else would finally get a fair chance to build their dream?